He was removed in April 2022. I mean, last year through a vote of no confidence, which is part of a constitution, which is part of the constitution. I mean, constitutionally, a prime minister can be removed only through vote of no confidence, or he himself quit. Uh, but then, how and in what circumstances he was removed, one has to look into it, because it was not possible to remove him through a vote of no confidence without seeking cooperation of his previous allies, meaning MQM Pakistan, Balochistan Awami Party, dissidents of PTI, as well as PMLQ. Now, all these smaller parties were part of the coalition government of former Prime Minister, and under the circumstances in which he was removed, is questionable, because they were the same parties which actually supported Imran Khan, and otherwise even Imran Khan would not have been able to form the government in 2018. And in the nutshell, at that time also, in 2018 also, in 2022 also, it was which generally people believe. In fact, both the parties, PTI as well as the opposition, the then opposition and now the outgoing PDM government, they both believed that it was a conspiracy hashed by General Bajwa in 2018. This is what PDM people believe, that it was because of General Bajwa that Imran Khan was able to form the government. Now, the same position Imran Khan took when he was ousted through a vote of no confidence, that it was Bajwa who actually conspired against his government. So although it was a constitutional transition, I mean, the prime minister was removed through a vote of no confidence, but there are a lot of if and buts, and question the way he was removed and the way it was followed by the decision of the Supreme Court. So all these questions need to be resolved and need to be addressed before we looked into it. Now, if we see that through a transition, a democratic process is practically on, but whether it's a true democratic process or not, one has to look into it. Since 2008, there is a continuation of the system as far as the general elections are concerned, and if elections are held in 90 days, it will be the third transition of a democratic system. The first one was from 2008 to 2013, in which for the first time we witnessed a smooth transition of power, a smooth transfer of power from one elected government to another elected government, from one elected prime minister to another elected prime minister, from one elected president to another. And before that, the whole Pakistan's political history, we have not seen such kind of a smooth transfer of power and a smooth transition. And the same procedures were followed from 2013 to 2018, when in 2018, one elected prime minister, transferred power to another elected prime minister, despite having political differences. Now, in both these cases, from 2008 to 2013, although the government and the parliament completed their tenure, but in both the cases, two prime ministers were disqualified, and they were replaced, although by their own party's candidate. But Yusuf Raza Gilani was disqualified by the Supreme Court, and subsequently Raja Parvez Ashraf replaced him from the same parliament. And same practice we witness in Nawaz Sharif's case. He was disqualified, he was convicted in 2017 in Panama case, and then Shahid Khaqan Abbasi replaced him. So although the government and the parliament completed their tenure, uh, we see political uncertainty due to the disqualification of two prime ministers. Then in 2018, when Imran Khan, despite all reservations of the then opposition, became the prime minister, the first sign of undemocratic process under his government was witnessed during the Senate election, when the PDM parties, which holds the majority in the Senate, in 2018, they had 64 senators as compared to PTI's and their allies, 34 senators. But surprisingly, Mr. Sadiq Sanjarani, who is interestingly is one of the candidates for the interim setup or the interim prime minister now, was surprisingly elected as chairman Senate, despite majority of senators were against him. But when the secret ballot was held, the 64, at least 12, I believe, 12 or 14 senators from the PDM voted for Sadiq Sanjarani. And one of the candidates for the chairman Senate from PDM, late Mir Hasil Bizinjo, termed those elections as victory for General Faiz, the former ISI chief. And it resulted in yet another political turmoil. And PDM launched a campaign. Imran Khan dissolved most of the elected Nazims in Punjab. And unlike the promises he made that he will hold local bodies election, he did not hold any local bodies elections in Punjab because he feared that PMLN might sweep the polls. So this political transition from 2018 to 2022, I mean, Imran Khan was completely was very powerful at one time, and by October 2022, he developed the differences with the former Army Chief General Bajwa on the question of transferring General Faiz as ISI chief. And that, according to Imran Khan and according to most of the political analysts and observers, that resulted in political differences between the two. And ultimately, Imran Khan himself blamed General Bajwa that he is responsible for all this. So now we are, and after the vote of no confidence against Imran Khan, he came out with a different kind of a political narrative, and he initially blamed the Americans for ousting his government, and the famous Cypher controversy, which recently re-emerged in the last few days. And because in Pakistani politics, anti-US sentiments, always supported by a majority of the people, and that was one of the reasons why the religious parties alliance in 2002, Muttahida Majlis Amal, because of their anti-US stance against war in Afghanistan, the second war in Afghanistan, they emerged as a single largest party in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and formed a government in 2002. So anti-US, Imran Khan also exploited the anti-US sentiments and to some extent succeeded in it. And on the contrary, the PDM government, after electing Shehbaz Sharif as Prime Minister, faced unprecedented economic crisis, which resulted unprecedented price hike, and PDM government in the last 16 months could not failed in controlling the prices, and as a result, the PDM parties, particularly Pakistan Muslim League and Pakistan People's Party and Jamiat Ulama Islam, they started getting unpopular among the masses. And as a result, PTI government, which was, which was losing popularity in 2021 and 2022 and lost most of the by-election, it started winning those by-elections. It started winning, getting more and more political support, and all the surveys in the last 16 months resulted and seen as the PTIs as a leading party. So all this, keeping all this in mind, it will be very difficult for the PDM government and for the PMLN and for People's Party, although People's Party is still in a much comfortable position in Sindh. But as far as their popularity in other provinces, it's a serious question. I doubt they'll be able to win many seats other than in Sindh. But the real battle for the next election, the real political battle would be fought in Punjab, depending whether PTI will be allowed to contest election, and if allowed, in what form, whether former Prime Minister, who is now disqualified, whether he'll be able to win his legal battle and allowed to contest the next election. If he's allowed, then it will be a serious challenge for the PPM and for the PMLN. And PMLN's basically depending on the return of their leader, Shehbaz Sharif, who has left Pakistan due to sickness and due to his health condition 3 years back, and on the pretext that he will return soon, but he stayed back and stayed in London for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, and even did not return during the government of his own brother and his own allies. So one is expecting him by mid-September. One of the reasons why he has decided to come in mid-September is very simple. It's because he don't want to return as far as its sitting Chief Justice, Justice Loyal, is there, and that is what we expect, that Nawaz Sharif, after returning, will have a daunting task to regain the popularity which PMLN had lost in the last 16 months. So it's one has to wait and see how Nawaz Sharif will be received by the PDM and PMLN party in particular, and whether he'll be in the race for the next Prime Minister.